You're listening to Brandon Sports Talk, interviewing professional athletes and Paralympians and Olympians. And now for your professional athlete interview and your host, Brandon P.
Welcome back to Brandon Sports Talk. In today's episode, I had the privilege to interview the Canada wheelchair basketball Paralympian Blaise Mutware. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good, Brandon. How are you?
I'm doing good. Can you talk about how you knew that you wanted to get started in competing in the sport of wheelchair basketball?
Yeah, for me, basketball has always been a passion of mine. I've played basketball since a young age, and once I got hurt, it was like the easiest segue for me to get into para sports, and wheelchair basketball was like the first outlet I was able to get into. So ever since then, I was able to stick with it and enjoyed it as much as I did traditional basketball.
What was it like going to Arizona Wildcats to compete on the wheelchair basketball team?
It was interesting at first because like I got there around the COVID time, so my first year I was just doing school online, so I didn't really get the chance to play with the team. But I come around my sophomore year, I was able to play with the team with a new group of guys I've never played with, a new coach. So it was a little bit of an adjustment, but being like an experienced player, older player. I was able to get into a new role of being a leader. So I enjoyed my time at Arizona a lot.
Of course, what was that experience like getting to put on that Arizona Wildcat wheelchair basketball uniform?
I mean, I felt like I belonged to the school. I really felt like a wildcat, and it was interesting kind of representing Canada and USA school at the same time. So as an international player, I felt like I had a lot on my shoulders, but it was a challenge I was willing to accept.
How is that like, obviously, being an international student representing Canada and the U.S. team of Arizona Wildcats?
It's interesting because like you get two different perspectives. I got two different coaches. So even when I'm in Arizona, I'm getting advice from my coach from Canada. So it's trying to put two different playing styles together that can both work for myself in Arizona as well as work for my national team duties.
While a part of the Arizona Wildcats wheelchair basketball, what were some of your biggest accomplishments as a player?
As a player, like my first year playing, I was able to make the all rookie team, so that was a big accomplishment for me. And we were able to come in fifth in the nation in my first year, so it was kind of a little bit of a stepping stone as it was our first, I think it was our first year in as a college collegiate program. And then also I was able to make the All-American team as well. So that was kind of like a good start off to my college career.
What was that feeling like getting to make the national team to represent Canada?
The first time I made the national team was 2019, and this was after being playing with the program for a few years. So it was kind of a goal of mine to make the national team to crack the top 12. And when I finally did it, I felt a sense of relief, a sense of accomplishment. I was excited. I was going to my first majors, which was the Parapans in Peru to qualify for the Paralympics in Tokyo. So I felt I was able to finally contribute to the team, bring something to the team. And yeah, I felt a lot of national pride as well, being able to represent my country in a high performance sport.
How was that like obviously getting to work with the Toronto Raptors, the NBA team, to bring awareness to wheelchair basketball?
Yeah, I mean, we didn't get much of a chance to work too much with the Raptors, but we were able to, when I was in Toronto playing, we were able to play as the Toronto Rolling Raptors to associate ourselves kind of with the Toronto Raptors. And it was kind of, since we're the only Canadian team in the NWBA team, it worked out trying to represent, not to show that we're the Canadian national team playing in the NWBA, but more of a sublet of the national team, a group of guys that were still trying to make the team or development players. So it brought a lot of awareness to at least the Canadian athletes from the USA side of things. So just to kind of give, like I think that was at least for me, that was a segue into getting into Arizona was through the Rolling Raptors. The coach, we were playing a game against the Arizona Wildcats, and he approached me, asked me if I was interested in playing in the collegiate division.
Of course, what was that experience like getting to play for the Toronto Roller Raptors?
It was a good experience for me, at least, because being like I was not yet on the national team, so it was giving me more of a role on the team. Like more of a, I was getting more minutes, more playing time. I was able to develop better, and I think that was kind of what gave me the push to be able to make the national team. I was playing on the Rolling Raptors, as I was able to get more minutes and pretty much show what I can do on the court.
How was that experience like getting to go to the World Pan American Games and getting to compete in the Pan American Games?
For my first time, it was a surreal moment. It was my first tournament. There was a bunch of athletes from all different type of sports, from different countries in the Americas, and being around a large group of para athletes that are all like working to their crafts, trying to get a gold medal at the para pans, trying to qualify for Tokyo. I was really surrounded by a high talent athletes. So getting the feeling that I belong with a group of people that were there was really a good accomplishment for me, and it was an exciting experience. And Peru is an amazing city. I mean, amazing country. We're in Lima, which was a beautiful city. So yeah, just being able to experience different cultures was another plus for me.
Of course, what was that feeling like while competing in the World Pan American Games, getting to make that national team to go to the Paralympics?
Um, think that was the same question I just answered, but yeah, it was like I said, it was a great experience. It was we were able to get silver in that pair of pants to qualify for Tokyo, and yeah, it was just kind of like the first step for our team to get better as well, leading towards Tokyo.
How was that feeling like for you to get announced to make that Paralympic team to go to Tokyo?
It was it was even a better experience for me than getting announced for the Parapans, just because the Paralympics is the biggest stage for our sport, and I was really excited. Especially we got announced right before, right after COVID. So it was kind of a lot of uncertainty. A lot of guys weren't sure how much training they were able to get, how much better they were able to get. So uh, for me, it felt like I put in the right amount of work, and the work showed paid off, and I was able to show. So yeah, I was very excited for Tokyo for my first Paralympic Games.
Of course, after getting announced that you made the team, what was that preparation like preparing and having that year of gap before you made went to Tokyo to compete?
It was tough. It was tough because especially in Toronto, we had a lot of COVID restrictions. We couldn't go to the gym, so a lot of the preparation at first was in my apartment here. I was like doing like workouts in my like home workouts, push-ups. I had my chair here. I was pushing down and back the hall. I have a little mini hoop that was like shooting like a mini like tiny mini basket. But once we were able to train in the gym, it was still a lot of one like individual work, just because we're trying to keep social distance. So I was working on my shooting, working on my conditioning. Once we're able to actually work on contact, it was the best feeling. We felt like we're getting closer and closer to what we wanted to accomplish for Tokyo. Um, but yeah, it was a difficult time, a difficult training process leading up to Tokyo, just because of the restrictions.
Of course, for you, what was that feeling like getting that kit with your gear that had Team USA on it and it had the Argonaut symbols on it?
Yeah, Team Canada on it, not Team USA. But um, I mean, again, it felt like I was able to represent my country. Um, I felt like I like the country behind my back, my teammates. So it felt a lot bigger than just myself. So it felt great. Any opportunity to represent my country, I would don the Canada on my chest anytime.
Going to Tokyo, what was that feeling like getting to put on that Team Canada gear for the first time in the game?
Um, I guess it was exciting. I have put on the jersey a few times before that. For me personally, I try not to let the moment take over too much, and let the bright lights and the atmosphere make me nervous. I enjoy the game of basketball, so I take every game as I do as practice, and just go out there and do what I know.
Of course, do you have any game day routines and rituals that you do to prepare for game day?
Personally, not much. I try to make sure I do get a few shots in before my warm-ups. Make sure I stretch, of course. But as for rituals, right before tip-off, I like to make sure I make a one last bat, like make sure that I close the basket per se, like close the basket by putting the ball in. Make sure the last shot that we shoot is not a miss before we have for tip-off.
Of course, what was that feeling like getting to go to the Paralympics, and how was that feeling like when you stepped onto that court and knew that all your hard work paid off?
Felt good, felt good. Uh, I guess I wanted to just be able to prove to the world what I can do. So as soon as I got on the court, I worked my butt off and push hard in the game, hard against the players. My first game in the Paralympics was against Spain. So it was a very strong team. So I wanted to be able to show I could be able to play alongside them or against them.
Of course, how was that like getting to compete against those different countries like Spain, US, and China?
Um, we haven't played China. Yeah, I don't think China has a competitive men's team, but playing against like all these international teams, like Spain, USA, Great Britain, Netherlands, like the list goes on of some of the strong teams that are in the world right now. But it really opens your eyes because for me, making the team for the first time, I was used to playing local players from Canada. And it's a different level of sport playing internationally. The game is a lot faster, players are a lot stronger, way more efficient. So for me, it just made me realize just kind of the level I need to get to be able to hang with these guys competitively.
Of course, what was that experience like playing in that rivalry game with Team USA?
Um, it was a tough game. I mean, Team USA came to play. They were the defending Paralympic gold medalists. They had the likes of Steve Serio, Brian Bell, and Matt Scott, really great players, and they were able to they outshowed us, to play harder than us. We're a little bit of a younger team, kind of developing and. Still kind of figuring out our pieces together. But again, like just seeing, like being able to play against them really shows the level we need to get to as a team and individually and as a team to be able to compete with the Paralympic gold medalists.
Of course, for my listeners that don't know, how do you play the sport of wheelchair basketball?
Yeah, wheelchair basketball is pretty similar to traditional basketball. the court size is the same. We play with the same basketball. The hoop is the same height. The difference is players are playing in a specifically designed sports chair that is meant for agility, speed, strength. Um, the other differences is that in wheelchair basketball there is no double dribble, but it is a travel call, so you're allowed two pushes with your chair before you can dribble. Or like two pushes and then you have to dribble. You can dribble within one push or less, but two pushes maximum. And then yeah, like it's pretty much players that have a physical disability, mostly lower limb, but it's not limited to not limited to any other disabilities. And yeah, it's just as fun as traditional basketball.
Of course, for you, what was that feeling like making it to the Paralympics, and what was that moment like when you were like, "Mom, I made it"?
It was exciting. I felt proud. I felt proud again to represent my country, and um, yeah, I was ready to tell all my friends, my family, all my friends and family were really proud of me, of my accomplishment. It was a long time coming. I put in a lot of the work, and it was one of my main goals to be able to make the Paralympics.
How does it feel to have Paralympian behind your last name and add PLY?
It feels good. It feels like I'm recognized, and be able to, like I have something to look back on when my career is over. At least something I can say that I've been to the Paralympics and been able to play at the highest level of the sport.
Of course, what is that like getting to meet your fans and having them ask for your autographs and photos with you?
It's surreal. I mean, for me, when the idea of having fans is almost foreign to me because I feel like I'm just as a regular person. I'm able to relate with anybody, but it is a good feeling having people that look up to you, admire you, and want to get your autograph. Even though I think my autograph is worthless, but it's worth something to someone else. So. I'm always willing to oblige with fans. I'm able to like I love taking pictures with them. Just something to make their day because I know as when I was a kid, I looked up to a lot of athletes, and if I had the opportunity to be able to get their autograph or a picture with them, I would jump to the opportunity. So it feels good. It feels like I'm being recognized.
Of course, what was that moment like for you when you got to receive your Paralympic rings and saw the Canada Maple Leaf flag along with the Argonaut symbols on them?
If like I still have my ring to this day. I rock it every time I can. It's just a constant reminder of my experience in Tokyo. And then also just kind of gives me motivation for being able to make the next Paralympics and prolong my career as long as I can. Maybe collect a few more of these.
Of course, what are some of your favorite memories and moments competing in wheelchair basketball?
Most of my favorite moments, I usually start from off court with the group of guys I play with. Usually have laughs, like lot of similarities. Um, on court, probably my most recent memory was playing against Australia. The bench was really hyped. Everybody was pretty much involved in the game. It was sort of a rival game with Canada and US and Australia as they had a long history that they had prior before I was playing. But it was the first time I felt part of that rivalry, and I lost my voice in that game, and yeah, it was a fun game to play and watch.
Of course, as a wheelchair basketball player, what is that like obviously getting to travel around the world and going to all these different countries that most people would have not have never gone to?
Yeah, no, I enjoy traveling a lot. I love flying, and going to different countries is a great experience for me. I'm able to experience different cultures, different languages. I've learned a few languages, nothing I'm fluent in, but just able to kind of say hi and bye to locals. And just as much as I enjoy going to these countries, the locals are very much excited to see. people from Canada, and they love interacting with us. So it's just being able to see how the world is different and everywhere you go. So I love traveling, and I have great experiences every time I travel.
Who are some of the influential people in your career that have shaped you into the wheelchair basketball player you are today?
A lot of people. I mean, when I first started playing wheelchair basketball, the likes of Jesse McNally, who's a able-bodied player, but he's a fantastic wheelchair basketball player, was one of my first influences. Obviously, guys like Pat Anderson, who's like known as one of the greatest players of all time, was a major influence as well. As like I saw him as a bar to where I want to have my skills and abilities get to. And yeah, there's all my teammates were all inspiring to me, especially for me as a new player to the sport. I was a sponge. I was taking knowledge from everybody and anybody that would be able to that would help me get better. So I had a lot of role models in my career. Fortunate to have a lot of role models.
Of course, what is that like, obviously getting to compete against some of your teammates like Pat Anderson?
Yeah, I mean, it's very humbling a lot of the times, but I like the challenge. I like going against Pat a lot. I always try to challenge him. He challenges me all the time. So, um, uh, I try to learn from a lot from him. And he obviously teaches me a few things. He's beaten me multiple times. So it's a lot of like training wheels playing against Pat. So but I've come a long way from when I first started, and right now goal is to be able to be. I know he's a little bit older and kind of getting closer to retirement, but it's still a goal of mine to be able to beat him consistently on the court.
Of course, what are some of the things that you learned as a rookie that you learned from these veterans that are teammates of yours?
Yeah, just to kind of enjoy the experience as it is, like not dwell too much on your role on the team. Just trying to get to know the guys, trying to enjoy time with the guys. Keep it lighthearted, especially on travel trips when everyone's away from family, from friends. You kind of have only your teammates as your core group. So yeah, I learned a lot from my veteran teammates that I just gotta enjoy the experience as much as I can.
Of course, what was that experience like getting to live out your Paralympic dream?
Um, like felt surreal. Uh, it felt like I finally accomplished one of my goals. But it's not enough. I want to be able to medal at this point, so that's my next goal.
Of course, what are some of your future plans in the sport of wheelchair basketball?
My future plans is trying to make the Paralympics for Paris next year. And then also, I want to be able to get a national title with my collegiate team in Arizona. And then hopefully, after I graduate, I would like to play professionally somewhere in the professional league, either in Europe or anywhere really that would like to take me.
Of course, what is that preparation like looking like now, preparing for Paris and then in 4 more years preparing for LA?
Yeah, I mean, right now, LA is still kind of on the back burner. We try and take it one competition at a time. So we have a pair of pans in November in Santiago, Chile, where we'd have to place first in that tournament to qualify for a spot in Paris. So that's kind of the main goal right now. We have top teams in our pool in our competition, like the USA, Brazil, or Argentina, all strong teams that we have to overcome to be able to qualify for Paris next summer.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to play wheelchair basketball in college on the collegiate level?
My advice to you guys that want to play collegiate basketball is reach out to some of the coaches, reach out to some of the schools you may be interested in, apply, and It's a great stepping stone if you want to make your national team uh, wherever you're from. So it's a great way to be able to kind of learn the foundations of the sport and really grow into yourself, grow into your role, and understand what you can bring to the table in the sport. But yeah, for sure, definitely reach out to coaches, reach out to players even. They can also help you out in the path to college as well.
What advice would you give those people that are looking to represent a national team, whether it's Canada or Team USA?
I think for my advice to anyone trying to make their national team is to keep putting the work. Keep like the time will come. It might not be this year, it might not be next year. It is a tough spot to crack for a lot of people, but it's not impossible. If you put in the work, if you work on your craft to be the best you that you can be, your time will definitely come. And especially if you're a hard worker yeah, your talent will show.
Of course, what advice would you give those people that are looking to go on to the Paralympics and go to the Paralympics?
Same thing. Just keep working on your craft. Keep working with your team. Get team chemistry. If your team is one of if your country is one of the countries that is not really a strong national team that may or may not make the Paralympics. Work together as a team, figure out what you guys got to work on, get game reps, play strong teams, and then if you are from a country where like they already have a strong national team, again, keep putting in the work. When you crack the roster, you'll be able to help your team make the Paralympics.
What advice would you give those people such as yourself that were rookies and experiencing the Paralympics for the first time?
My advice is to like take the moment in. For me, I didn't really get a chance to do that, especially with the COVID Paralympics. We didn't have fans. It was pretty much very. We didn't get a chance to interact with other countries, so it was pretty much secluded environment. But I'm hoping the next Paralympics in Paris would be much more vibrant, have more fans. And for anyone going for the first time, including myself, just take the moment in. Every Paralympics is going to be different from the last one. Just take the moment in and take advantage of every opportunity presented.
That's great advice. Where can my listeners find you at on social media?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram at johnny.blvze. And Facebook, just Blaise Mutware. Yeah, and I think that's pretty much most of my socials.
Thank
On
you again.
Snapchat, you can find me at johnny.blizzy, Blizzy.
Thank you again, Blaise Mutware, for your interview and best luck in your future as a Canada Paralympian Wheelchair Basketball.
Thank you so much, Brandon.
You can find Brandon Sports Talk on Instagram at Brandon Sports Talk, Twitter at Talk_Brandon, and you can find me on YouTube at Brandon Sports Talk. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you again, Blaise Mutware, for your interview and best luck in your future.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You've been watching Brandon Sports Talk. Please feel free to like, share, and subscribe to Brandon Sports Talk on social media and on YouTube.